Hello everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Doc here with a different video tonight. We're going to talk about a pilot season comic called Finders Keepers by Vita Atalya, and the artwork, let's see, the artwork is by Skylar Patridge. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so pilot season for this book. What that means is this is part of the Horizon experiment, which is headed up by, who was it? I should have come better prepared. Pornsak Pishote. So, Pornsak used to be a editor, and this is Image giving them kind of a line of books to do a pilot season on. And a long time ago, in Top Cow, I believe it was, with Mark Silvestri, they did a pilot season program, and they did a bunch of number one books to see which one had the best sales, had the strongest story, and deserved to live. So, as you go through here, you have Inez, who's this character here, and she's going to Brown University. And I believe it's her sister, Anya, who's trying to talk her out of it and saying, you know, your life is here. You deserve to be here. Well, the punch behind this story is this is a person of different backgrounds than your regular Indiana Jones character. And much like at the beginning of one of the Indiana Jones films, where he was an impressionable youngster, she decides that she's going to become an archaeologist because that's how she feels that she can get back precious artifacts to the people who they came from. The thing about it is it's not necessarily the people who appreciate it the most. Now, I will say that a lot of deals such as that back in the day, such as the Spaniards dealing with the indigenous Indian tribes, were far less than fair. They literally gave those people trinkets in order to gain some of their most prized possessions. Things that to the Indians were very, very important, although they didn't look like much of anything to the Spaniards. So anyway, to get back to the main story, you have Inez, and she's working her way up in different museums. She's trying to figure out this piece called El Corazon, and whether or not she should and whether or not she can steal it in order to return it to the people that it belongs to. So, like the book says on the very inside cover, it's a reverse Indiana Jones, where he's stealing to give back to somebody. So she's stealing El Corazon to give power back to the not indigenous people, but the people of heritage. The people who once saw this as sacred, almost. So it's got an interesting premise. It really does. It's really not any different also than National Treasure. I was looking that up the other day to see if there will be a third movie in that series, and it's been said that Nick Cage, as of May 2024, was not interested in returning to the title character of Ben Gates in a third movie. So whether or not we actually get that movie, I don't know. But I haven't read any of the other Horizon experiment books. I'm not sure. I need to do a little research and see if this is actually the first one to have come out. But I will say this is a good mixture of history and trying to somewhat right the wrongs of society, although just like Indy's father in that movie, just like Sean Connery, he said, it doesn't belong to you, give it back to the man. And so it's a slippery slope, no different than who has the right to own these things. And if the people of the island, if the people of wherever gave that item away so carelessly, was it ever truly sacred to them in the first place? So I think that that's a pretty good book and a pretty strong premise to start something out. And that's why I decided to call this video Pilot Season, because that's what this is. It's a series of one-shots with different characters to see who is the strongest character and who survives, to possibly get an ongoing or even a mini-series. So, did you guys pick this up this week? Did you check it out? Did you even know that it was coming? What do you think about Finders Keepers, if you did read it? I think that it's a strong enough premise that it would carry a book. I don't know. They spoke about the whole premise of the series being an Indiana Jones who is a female character who is of a different race. This may be come off preachy. I hope that it does not. But I don't know that I agree with building the character around a particular race or a particular creed. It would be like saying, okay, Spider-Man's been good enough for all these years, but we don't need Peter Parker to be white anymore. We need to change him to a African culture. We need to change him to a Mexican or Spaniard culture. And why? Because they want to change things. Not because it makes sense, not because it's a good storyline, but instead it's just change for change's sake. And that's kind of how I feel this might have been done, because it's mentioned at least twice in the book that we're, quote unquote, we are trying to create characters outside of the box. And I get creating characters outside of the box, but don't necessarily create that character with ethnicity in mind. To say, oh, well, we need a brown Indiana Jones. We need an Inuit Indiana Jones. We need a Russian Indiana Jones. Don't create that character with that. Create that character and let it stand on its own merits. Now, I would say that Inez does. I would say that her character does stand on her own, and that she doesn't need any kind of ethnic backstory to build upon this character. She's strong enough on her own, no matter whether she was white, whether she was Indian, whether she was Russian, whether she was New Zealander, whatever. Inez is a strong enough character to stand on her own. So check this book out. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and let me know if this turns into something, if you would be interested in going and picking up the rest of the issues. All right, and I just wanted to say that I've got another couple of videos coming up. I'm going to talk about the new Scott Snyder and Jock book that came out from Distillery this week. I'm going to update you a little bit on where I am with the Starman Compendium and a few other books that I've been reading. So, hey, keep a lookout for more videos. I love doing these things, and I love you guys and ladies being on the journey with me.